what does coaching specifically look like, and how do parents actually coach their kids?
So this is a very big conversation for the time that we have. And so I want to just try and keep it as simple as I can with regards to, okay, so I'm supposed to ask them questions. So let's start there. Like, what kinds of questions am I supposed to ask them? Okay. And so let's look at, what I always say is the types of questions are important. So I say, try and use the what and the how questions as opposed to the why questions. I'll show you more about how that works. And then try and use more open-ended questions where it's not just a yes or a no. And also using questions because you want to try and hear more about what do you think. You want to get to the heart of your child. You really want to hear them. And so you're asking questions like, what else should you be doing? Or how are you feeling? Or what else could be another solution to this? So what else, how else? Those are wonderful little questions that you can use because you're wanting to always get them to tell you more as opposed to you doing all the talking all the time. Right. And so we say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and often we use our mouth way more than our ears. And so coaching is the shift from saying too much and listening more and giving them the space. And so if we use an example there with regards to, when I said try not to use why questions, because why questions can be more judgmental. And when you use a why question, you are putting them on the defensive. They immediately feel like they need to defend themselves. So let me just maybe give you an example. Would that be helpful?
Okay. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
So if you have a child, let's say you have a child who's often late for things, or perhaps you're going off to church and there's possibly a child in your family that is, I want to say, almost always making the family late for church or late for an event. Let's maybe use that example. And so what you would be, when you are in the boss manager kind of teacher mode, what I also didn't say is you are focusing in on solving the problem. That is your main focus. We got to be on time. Where the coach mode is looking at, okay, let's look under the surface here, under the iceberg to see what else is going on. Yes, we want to solve the problem, but what is going on with the child? What are they struggling with? And so you're trying to understand.
So it's kind of like, instead of the immediate solution, we're looking at the long-term solution here and getting to the bottom for the whole thing. Okay.
I like how you summed that up. And so you would be, so what you would do in the boss manager mode, problem solver, parent to the rescue, you'd say, why are you late? Or often what parents would say is, why are you always late when we go to church, right? And obviously we shouldn't use the word always or never, but sometimes we do that because we get frustrated. So you would say, why are you late for church? And it's almost like now they've got to get the defensive. They feel like you're in judgment mode, and more than likely there's going to be some kind of blow up of some sort when you're in this kind of mode. And then what you do is then you problem solve for them. And depending on the ages of your children, so this is where you need to decide, how you would do this. But then you'd say, why are you always late for church? You need to do this. And then you solve the problem for them. You need to set your alarm clock, or you need to have breakfast earlier, or you need to make sure you don't, shower for 10 minutes. And so you give out the solution. And what normally happens is does the child really learn from that? Are you helping them create more like responsibility, accountability? Not really. And so often it affects the relationship as well. And it makes the parent more frustrated.
Right. Yes.
So we want to move away from the why question and the problem solving mode and the curious coach. And what that would look like is you'd want to maybe give some empathy first. Well, I know it's really hard for you to remember to be on time or to be on time because some children really struggle with that. It's an executive function. There's a time management. There's a whole lot of other things going on here, which we that's another whole conversation. So, a suggestion of what that could look like is the empathy. I know this is really hard for you. I know that you struggle with time, but how can we find a solution to helping you be on time? That could be one way. Or you more than likely know what it is, but you want them to actually say it. Like, what is distracting you?
Exactly.
And you might know, well, they're waking up early, but let them say it, because then they can find the solution for themselves. And it creates a lot more invitation for a conversation.
Yes.